Thanks all for tuning in. There should be a few more with us now, because most of the shows are over. Whether them going round and judging, exhibiting, whatever. If I can ask you all to mute, just in case I get interference, and obviously if I'm giving input or ask a question, just come in. Inputs tonight, I've got Andy from Chester, Keith from Surrey, Chris from Wednesbury, Jerry Edwards, if he's on, and me, of course, and a couple of extras as we go along. Right, this is one from Opera on last week, if you remember, just to show that when I was in the mob, we had creases in our bell bottoms, 7 creases for the 7 Cs, and the way the dress uniform is going now, it's pathetic. It don't even fit. All ours were not meant to measure, but they wore fur off. Some of the uniforms last week were any load of. Meaning, in 20 years' time, our trousers will be looking like that for the mob. What an embarrassment. At least I've got the creases back. Comes round, do it. Right, yeah, a lot. Just for info, one on that one. And then free Zooms now, just to remind you, so don't get sending no hackers or nothing. And John Murphy, my loud shirt is for you tonight, mate. Right, Steve Chambers, who we lost about a month ago. One of his relatives has been in touch, and just before we lost him, he bought 2 Vitapod heated double trays. 175 quid each he paid for them. He bought 2, and then flogging them for 150 quid. That's with delivery, so they'll deliver them for her. So you get free delivery, and it's 25 quid off. Anybody's interested, just give me a message later on. And that's the 2 photos they sent us, just to show how they have a double heated. Right, this one Jeffrey bunged on last week, and this is what has happened. Jeffrey, am you on, mate? No, he ain't. But it was I think it was a water vole. That's what he had in his allotment, and that's what they do to your carrots. They obviously don't like the skins. I'm very particular. I mean, I like the skins on my taters, but each to their own. And there's also one of his pumpkins, what he bunged in. He had a competition for guess the weight where he were. Good man. And I put these on last week as well. Some seeds I got off the internet. And looking into that. So can of seeds indoors, mid to late Feb. Commercial germination medium. Prior to sowing, soak the seeds in water 12 to 24 hours. So I'm going to give these a go as well. It's similar to peas, really. Just to help them out to germinate. After sowing, like a couple of seeds, then water them in. So I should be doing that again. Right, Lynn sent me this. Where am I? Cucamelons, is that right, Lynn? I think it was. That was the last lot I got up in the back garden. I don't know what they taste like, never had them. Whether you use them in a salad or what.
They're like a cucumber, but you get like a lemony taste at the end.
Oh.
You can use them in salads, eat them neat, or pickle them.
Oh. Have you used them all?
Yeah, I've pickled. I had 4 little jars that I've pickled with cider vinegar, normal vinegar, garlic, and a few herbs, but I haven't tried them yet.
Keep a jar for the show next year.
I will. Okay.
Something different. Oh, Boston. Cheers, Lynn. My delphiniums with the second flowering and my grapevines in the back. Still feeding. Well, feeding everything that's growing. They're still growing. Obviously, because I wanted the best out of them. Somebody asked during the week on a group about raised beds, how do you look after the timber? And some of the answers they was getting were a load, so I put my input in. Basically, if this boards like I used here in the first place, which originally was old pallets, and then when scaffolding boards came available, because I got a little split or something, health and safety call use them, so they was fucking cheap. So anything from a scaffolding thickness, I try to get you can get it on eBay, Amazon, whatever, black and white horticultural plastic, and it doesn't deteriorate. It is brilliant stuff. Obviously black one side and white the other. You can get it by the roll or by the meter. And that's what I used on the raised beds down the plot. When I moved my plot to the back garden, the raised beds were most up in the back garden, a brick. With the one large one, which is this timber you can see here. Well, it's sleeper size, sleeper timber, but he's obviously smooth. And I just use liquid rubber. There's an undercoat and then 2 coats of liquid rubber, and that'll bloody outdo me. So that was my input, looking after them. And also they asked for the ingredients for filling a raised bed. He says I couldn't get around it. I says, well, if it's over 6-8 inches or something, just put wood chip in the bottom to start off with, because that's going to break down anyway. Then anything else, I mean straw, you can get hold of that, put that on top, that's going to break down as well. And then you need your manure, whatever manure you can get. And then your extras, seaweed, bracken, leaf mould, spent mushroom compost, spent tops, spent barley, topsoil, molehills, if you don't get it. Then you mix in worm cast, spent peat, wood burner ash, sand, spent coffee grounds. Bedding manures add straight on top. These are either rabbit milk, alpaca, llama. More rotted manures, get a good watering. And homemade compost on top, water cover with weed suppressant. And they appreciated that as well. Right, Andy from Chester, our first input tonight. Are you all ready, sir?
To what's been going on in the conservatory. You see the Spanish moss hanging there. I brought, the day that the Queen died, I decided to bring the plants in from outside. The banana, I've got 7 citrus plants and a few other things. You'll notice the water butts there. The Spanish moss, there was 6 of them before, but now there's 9. I've divided them up a little bit more. They're hanging up there. Okay, next one, Mick.
How do them grow then as they are there?
They're just, right, they don't want to have any metal in contact with them. So I use a bit of wire with plastic round. And all what I do with that, I just bend a piece over and just grip it slightly. It doesn't have to be gripped hard, and just hang it up on the wire. It's just hanging there, and once a week I take them off and dunk them in the fish tank for 20 minutes, along with the air plants that I've got hanging up on the wall opposite them. So there's enough humidity in the air for them to survive. They grow in Mexico, somewhere around there, and they hang down from the trees. It's a sign that you got good air quality.
Yeah, I like it.
That's yeah. I mean, you can see on the side there. There's some of my coleus that I've got. I got rid of the older ones, and I've got some relatively new cuttings there. So originally I got 5 plants from a nursery, and from those 5 plants, one of my daughters had over 100 to go in the garden, you know, just taking cuttings. And I thought I'd better ease up a little bit over the winter, so I've just got basically 3 of each. Instead of it being 15, I've got 18 now. They're spilling over into the kitchen as well. And there's some Tradescanthia in a jar on top of the fish tank. You'll see a leaf just under that jar. That's a begonia, which is probably, it's a good metre tall. That was outside as well. In a pot. I've got 3 of those in a pot outside. Well, they were outside, but I brought them in on the 8th of last month, just in case the frost got them.
Yeah.
You can see the banana, how the leaves, one of the leaves curling, which is what they do. But there's the wife was having words with me about the electricity consumption. So the fish tanks, on each tank there was 2,425 litres an hour turnover. That's on each tank. I've now reduced that down to 1,000. So originally the filter that came with those tanks was 600 litres an hour. But I like my plants. So to get more plants in there, you need a better circulation. You want at least a 10 times turnover. As I say, there's fertilizer injected twice a day in those tanks, and there's CO2 injected in there as well. But it's just something that's going on. You can just about make out on the right-hand side one of the water butts, and on the left-hand side you got 2 of them. There's 4 water butts in there. Yeah, so I use that for all the watering of the plants in there. I was using the fish, you know, the water from the fish tanks as well. But I did have air stones in each one of those water butts just to keep the water moving. It's been recommended that you do that, oxygenate the water.
Yeah.
So to try and appease my wife, I turned the compressor off for that. And you'll also notice that the hydroponic unit in the centre's gone. Okay, next slide, Mick. That's just looking out of the lounge into the conservatory. On the left-hand side, there's 22 air plants hanging up there. You've got a couple of that's those air plants there. There's orchid on bark, and on the left-hand side again at the top, there's orchids on the top row, going down to the trays at the back. Right, something that some people might not be keen on, but you see those trays on the left-hand side at the bottom? Yeah, that's them. There's trays on the rack there. I'm breeding mealworms so I can feed them to the birds.
Yeah.
There's when I took those photographs, there's 8 trays there. There's 10 there now, and they have the darkling beetle, which lays its eggs, and that lays it in a bran or a meal, and the eggs hatch after a while into the mealworms. So I get this cycle, but the cycle takes about 6 months from the beetles laying the eggs to when you get beetles again. So I've got the complete setup there. You see at the very bottom, the bottom shelf, there's the orchid bark for potting on the orchids. Yeah. The trays at the far end, in there is Sphagma Moss. I've grown Sphagma Moss in there. You'll see, you'll get onto them later on, Mick.
Oh,
Okay, next slide, Mick. There's a fan in the top corner as well. That's some of the insectivorous plants with the Sphagma Moss. So I have those, they're about 2 foot or so long, maybe a little bit more. And this rainwater in there, the Sphagma Moss. And there's a couple of, oh dear, anyway, there's all these insectivorous plants in there. Yeah, okay, next one, Mick.
I recognise him, but I forgot his name.
That's the Dendrobium.
That's it.
Yeah.
Recognise the chap.
Right. That is in the Sphagma Moss, which came from New Zealand. I've been growing it on for a while, and what you find is that seeds germinate in the moss. So that's ferns, which I've pulled out from the moss and just put them into pots. In the bottom of each one of those pots is a handful of Sphagma Moss, and it's filled up with a very low in nutrient insectivorous plant soil. Can't have any fertilizer, otherwise it'll kill them.
Yeah.
And so they're growing in that. Okay, next slide, Mick. They're the sundews on there. I mean, I ended up with 2 of them originally, 2 different types. The left-hand corner and the right-hand corner, 2 different types. And I've taken a few cuttings from them. So you can see how they multiply. Okay, next slide, Mick. Christmas cactus there as well. That's the display wall. Well, I say the display wall. It's just that rack, that framework's 8 foot long by 1 meter tall, and there's 22 air plants on there. The orchids are on the top there. There's orchids on the next shelf down as well. I bought the fan just to keep the air moving when it gets warm. Okay, next one, Mick. Right, believe it or believe it not, there's 7 Australian tree ferns there, Dixonia antarctica. I had them on the shelf above the fish tank last year, put them out in the summer, and I brought them in on the 8th of last month when the Queen died. I didn't realise she died, and that's what I was doing. I was just bringing the stuff in, clearing it out and putting that in. I stand those in a saucer. They've got larger saucers now, and I put water in the bottom, and I water the crown. In some of those pots there, you're talking about maybe 2 or 3 plants on each pot, and there's 7 pots. Then, with the exception of 1 pot there, the others are 9-inch pots. They're 9-inch pots. You'll notice the Swiss cheese in the background as well. That's in the lounge. Very tolerant wife. Okay, next one.
I was going to ask that. Does it know about your mealworm?
Yes, she does. So do the grandkids. They're not happy with them. Then we Streptocarpus there. I've got a total of 12 of those, and I've got a tray which is I've got the matting on, so the self watering, and it just keeps the soil moist all the time. And you'll see that in the tray on the left hand side, there's a little square notch in there, I just pour the water in there, and it keeps them happy. You'll also notice to the left-hand side, there's 2 citrus plants in the pots directly next to that one. That's it. And on the right-hand side, there's 1. I've got the oregano in pots in the front, cascading down. So which I took out of my hydroponic unit when I took it down. Okay, next slide, Mick. Just a view towards the thing. You can see the banana plant, the cordyline. You can even see a lemon at the bottom in the middle. Yeah, there's a heater in there as well with a fan on, and it goes. I have the bifold doors open all the time, so from one end to the other, it's 40 odd foot long. You can make out the dog at the far end on the just under the window at the right hand side at the top. This is Samoyed, bred for pulling sledges, but it's just a bit of an overview. But you see that that begonia, it's flowering. It's been flowering like anything, and it's a good meter tall. Okay, next one. That's just the Spanish moss, Tilsandria as they call it. There's a herb in the centre there, just between. Yeah, there's all sorts of things going there. But the water butts have all got a strap round. You can't have them, if the grandkids go in there, you can't have them falling on the grandkids. Or me. There's an agave there as well. In the window, I've got 11, I think it's 11 mother-in-law's tongues, all in 9-inch pots, in meter-long trays, meter-long troughs. Okay, next one, Mick. Yeah, that's more of the Streptocarpus. See the side at the bottom is the oregano. On the top right, you've got a begonia. I've got 3 different types of begonia there. There's African violets as well. I've got a few of them. You can make out the mother-in-law's tongues, can't you now?
Yeah.
They're over 2 foot tall, well over 2 foot tall, 60 centimeters or more each one. And every so often, when I remember, I just water them. They don't take any looking after. Okay, next one, Mick.
You can bring one of them to our show next year, bung it in.
It's well, yeah, could do, I suppose. That's just an overview of it. You can see the 2 begonias there, and Jacob's coat of many colours, a croton, is it? I've got a few hanging baskets, little pots at the top there. The pots have got a built-in saucer. Yeah, so I've got some Tradescanthia wedding veil. It's a very fine leaf one with a white flower. It's a nice subtle flower, nice and subtle. So that will cascade. They're only just new cuttings that I've taken of it. You get rid of the old ones, it's easy to overwinter. Yeah. You can see there's an orchid just next to that funnel in a seed tray. No compost, just stuck in that tray, and it flowers its heart out. Every so often, pour a bit of water on it. Simple as that. There's the agave on the top right. I didn't want to leave it out because, you know, if it gets frosted, it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, next slide, Mick. That's just the wall there. It just gives you an indication. I've taken up the grow light down, so that's disconnected. That's why the wires are all wrapped round at the top right hand side. The air plants are quite like them. As I say, once a week on a Thursday morning when I'm doing the fish tanks, I fill up with fresh water straight out of the fish tanks. All what I do is just open the valve to drain the tanks, set a timer for 2.5 hours, and that's 180 litres that goes down the drain, 90 out of each tank, and then I open the valves up again and it fills up again automatically. Anything to save work. Yeah. Okay, next slide, Mick.
That's one of mine, Andy.
Yeah, that's not one of mine.
Thanks for that, Andy.
There was just
Anybody
an
got any
update
questions
as to
for him?
what's going on, Mick.
Cheers, Andy.
Okay. Any questions, anyone?
Good man. Thank you, sir. Always somebody worse off than yourself. Right, our next inputter, Keith from Sorry. Are you ready, sir?
Yep, all there, Mick.
Good man. Thank you, sir.
Right, came back from Malvern over the weekend. I exhibited some dahlias, veg, plot plants, and then we stayed on for a few days. A little bit of a end of the year break, which was very nice. But I was pleased with the results from the dahlias. Didn't do very well with the veg this year. This was a miniature deck, Twilight Boy. That doesn't really show the colour. It's really vibrant, deep purple, very nice colour. Good strong stems. You know, if you want a dahlia that's going to produce good strong stems and not too wobbly for show bench, Twilight Boy as a miniature deck is really good. But so I was pleased to, it was good class, about 10 entries in that. I was pleased to pick up a second with that one.
Nice.
Next one, Mick. Right, that's Blighton Softer Green. Excuse Blighton Softer Green. That's a small ball. Again, another dahlia that you don't have to have covers for exhibition, and the stems really are rock solid. So that one is another one that I would sort of say, if you wanted a pretty nailed on dahlia that's going to give you good solid strong stems, good form, good colour, that's one to go for. But that produces some really nice blooms. And I think there are about 4 or 5 vases of Blighton Softer Gleam in the class, plus another one, again, another 9 or 10 entries. So I was really pleased to pick up a 3rd place with those. But overall, the dahlias there were pretty good, knowing, you know, with the season we've had, it's been difficult. The quality was very high. Next one, Mick. This is the one I was really pleased about, the old Coleus class.
Excellent.
That's one called Oxford Street. I always grow two plants to maturity like that, and then pick the best one, and about 6 weeks before the show it gets pinched back hard and goes on a stall in the middle of the greenhouse, and I feed it, water it, turning it, try and get it all round. Unfortunately, I got a bit clumsy this year, and a couple of weeks before the show I managed to knock it off, so that broke it, and it sort of ended up a bit square. So that was the the reserve, if you like. But I was really pleased with that. But I, like Andy, I took during the year lots of cuttings. I've got about 8 varieties, and I take lots of cuttings and then overwinter them in the spare bedroom, and select about 3 mother plants that I will overwinter, and then bring those back into life in the spring, take more cuttings, and from the cuttings I've got, I will take cuttings from. So I always like to go with fresh young plants in the spring, because their growing cycle is not a long one to get big plants. That was about 18-20 inches across, so very pleased with those. And just say keep pinching them out, and they make really nice bushy plants. Next one, Nick. This impressed me.
Keith, what size pot was that coleus in?
That's in an 8-inch.
8-inch pot, thanks.
Yeah. Because you have to be careful because that schedule says any size pot. Of course, you have to be careful if it says a 5 or a 6 or whatever. But that was in an 8-inch, and that one actually I gave that away to speaking to somebody at the show, and they said, "Do you want to sell it?" And I said, "Well, no, you can have it if you want it." And it's gone to Church Harvest Festival. They wanted it for, so that's gone. And I sort of said to them, take cuttings, strip it back, overwinter it, give them away. There must have been 60, 70 cuttings on that if you went into it hard. But that one is good size, and I'm going to grow a different variety for next year. Try and put another one in, something different next year.
Nice one, Keith.
Next one, mate. Right, I was always impressed by this class. I did enter it once. It's you're given a space which is about, say, 1 metre across, 90 centimetres deep, goes back at a slight angle, any height, and you can put a display of anything into that section. And I entered it once, and I put a display of coleus in. And but this same person, I think, who won it that year, and they've grown all that. And I think the last one they put about 5,000 chilies and peppers in, and it take hours to stage that, absolutely hours. And I thought it was magnificent, absolutely magnificent. There were 2 or 3. I think there was a fuchsia one, another one, not so many, with a few veg, flowers, dahlias in. So you could put in, and it could be one person, it could be a group of 3 or 4 people putting it all in. But it's a really good class. I think it would be a good society class. That would get 2 or 3 people together to do that. But that was excellent. Next one, mate. Right, this year I decided I would enter the National Dahlia Society National Show at Wisley, and as I never entered it before, I was allowed to go in the novice section.
Okay.
And I won the best giant, 3 giants.
Okay.
So that's 2 Aggie white at the top and 1 Louis white at the bottom. They were about 11, 12 inches diameter. And I was really lucky because I don't grow with covers, so they're all out uncovered, unprotected. And I cut those the night before the show. And I was staging, you can stage from 6 o'clock at night right the way through the night. And I staged from 6 o'clock through till 11:30.
Yeah.
5.5 hours for nine exhibits. And I was really pleased. I cut those the night before, all my dahlias, I cut them, put them in buckets, put them in a garage, and we had an absolute downpour, and it totally destroyed everything else that I had on the allotment. So I was pleased with that. But they won the best giants in the novice section. So I was really pleased with that one.
Brilliant.
Next one, mate. That again was at the National. That's actually Jasudi Hercules, not Jasudi Aurora. I got 2 vases, one in a different class, and I put the wrong labels on them. Quickly I was allowed to change them. But that won its class in miniature Cactus and was runner-up to best vase of dahlias in the entire novice section across all classes. So I was pleased with that one. That they're lovely and they're really good. You know, again, good solid grower, really good colour. So quite pleased with that. Next one, mate. Right, have you got the next one, Nick? We'll come back to that. Right, that's a small cactus called Rycroft Zoe, and again, I was pleased that won its class, so I was doing quite well, and that good. But go back to the one before, Nick. Right, that is a sport that it's thrown up, totally different colour, as you can see. The colour, the blooms behind it are different colours, and it's sort of apricot with yellow blends is the mother plant, but it's thrown that one up, which is more pink with a slight yellow centre. So I've managed to, I took 2 cuttings off that stem, 2 side shoots from lower down. They've both rooted. And then there was, when I came back from Malvern, I went down to see what, and there were 2 more little side shoots. So I took a stem off and split the stem in half, and I've taken those. So I'm hoping, I've got 2 plants, but I've got to overwinter those as green growing plants. So you won't make tubers or anything, and then take cuttings from those in the spring and grow those and do that to see if those 2 plants or whatever number of plants I can get, to see if they come true to the pink form. If they do that and it's worthwhile, I can then name that whichever I want, as long as I use the prefix of Rycroft. I can then call it whatever I want. But it did throw another sport, which is an all plain yellow, but there didn't no shoots on that, so I couldn't do that. It's the first sport I've had, and I always wanted to try and get sunflowers that are mine, and then I could name after the grandkids, sort of thing. So I'm quite pleased with that. See how that one goes. Anyhow, that'll be something to keep me occupied during the winter.
No, I dropped you. Do you have a question, or if you answered it?
No, Keith answered it about 9 minutes if you put it in the shower to
Yeah, you can. You have to use, because those varieties are there's Rycroft Zoe, you can name it yourself, but you have to use a prefix of the original breeder. So I could call it Rycroft, as long as it's not been Rycroft Jane, Rycroft Susan, or whatever I wanted, you know. But you have to use a prefix of the original breeder.
Thank you.
Next one, mate. Right, yeah, as I say, that's the mother, so as you can see the difference between that one and that one. I've decided that I grew 85 dahlias this year. I've decided to increase and go up to about 125 next year. And I'm building 2 not huge structures that I can get some of the more delicate blooms under cover, get some protection from the rain, to get the giants under, and because I'll be growing 24 giants, 3 varieties, the Aggie White, Louis White, and the mother where those 2 sported from, which is a red variety called Bryn Turfle. So they're all look the same, but there should be a red one, a yellow one, and an orange one, and I can use those. And I'll be growing 8 plants of each, 2 blooms per plant, and trying to time them over about a 6-week period. See how we go. Are there any more, Mick? Not sure. No, that's
No,
right.
that's it, mate.
So yeah, all in all, I'm going to. I've decided I'm not going to grow any chrysanthemums next year. I don't show them. I just grow them because they're sort of quite nice blooms. So I'm not going to bother growing those. They're under a cover, so I can use that cover, and then I can use build 2 new ones, which are sort of progressing, and that should give me a bit of protection for some more dahlias, and I can increase up to about 125, which is nowhere near. Because the beautiful thing about the National is there are classes for novice, and as soon as you get one first prize in novice, you have to move, and then there's sections for under 100, under 200, and then anything above 200 plants, and then you get the guys who are growing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 plants, and you're not going to compete with them. So I'm quite happy to sort of go in the under 200 class. See how we go. That's it, mate.
Excellent.
Okay, mate, no problem.
Cheers, Keith, mate.
You're very welcome.
Anybody got any questions? Good, you've covered everything.
Okay, mate.
Nigel, fancy him in your plot? Jesus, thank Christ.
I had one on my lawn yesterday, back lawn.
Not like him your day.
It'll be alright in
But-
a cocktail.
It was a black one. Black one. Big thing,
Took a
man.
photo, right? Chris, Wednesbury, have you on, mate? I ain't seen him come on. This was also at Malvern, as you can see, and Chris was going to put his shallots in our show, and he asked beforehand, which is asked to follow. Everything he put in the show has got to stay in, meaning he wanted to reserve them. So they put him in, he kept them for Malvern, which don't blame him, it's up to him. Prize money's better and whatever. That's why we don't get so many exhibits of the exhibition shallots this year. But well done, Chris. He also got first with his potleys. Obviously the National Veg Society section, this is of Malvern, not the Malvern show itself, NVS side. But Boston leagues, nice and clean. Clean as a whistle. Nice white blanch. Clean roots. Corkers. And he done well with his Gladys as well. Now that one, I should say, has come off there somehow. Whether it's snapped, well, it has snapped off, obviously, because it's on the bottom. But whether that was by accident or whatever, I don't know. Because I ain't here to tell you. But nice Gladys. Would probably might have got a first if that would have been intact. 5th prize with his Blanche, them are corkers and all. See how many? 2, 4, is it 5? Like a class of 5 there, 5 Blanche. There's a gap there, so that's the start of the next exhibit.
Those leeks, Mick, were brilliant. The
Yeah.
winners of that class, and I mean, Chris's were really good, but overall that leek class was superb.
Oh, it is class of 5 Blanche or Hawkers. Christ, I couldn't even get 3, let alone 5. And you got a 5th there. Obviously the judges put the initials on, so nobody cheats, nicks it or whatever. They ain't going to do any harm to the... I think the next one's lied down, yeah. Because the size there and then that one's second. Good, Benny. Heavy section, giant veg. Obviously come a fifth with his heavy leek. I went to that a couple of times when it first started. Got rid down with that as well. You got a fifth with his heavy pepper, as you can see there. They have a class for sweet pepper and chilies. Thank you, Chris, for that. Des, who does the weather on Central News. Our kid put another photo in because he does volunteer work up Liz's wall guard now, Zoe. And he bunged that one in. Jerry Edwards, RHS Garden, Idol, just not judging of the autumn and fruit veg competition. This was Chelmsford, as you can see. This was weekend just gone. No, last weekend. Well, it might have been all week. Jerry, am you on or not? I doubt it because he was judging yesterday. But obviously, well, there's 5 judges there for the start. Some for the veg at the back and the fruit on the front. But different classes for different categories of apples, as you can see. Like with our show, because it's just a small one, it's either eating apples or cooking. But these got loads of classes. And fruit judges don't like any leaves on. We have leaves on ours just to show them up. Well, I do. But a normal fruit judge don't like nothing on the plates whatsoever. And that's got to be any other fruit not mentioned in the schedule, as we have with ours. Any other veg not mentioned, and any other flowers, that covers everything. Then people can put in what they want. Should be doing that one. Yeah, of course, zoom in. So that was the end of the apples. Then the grapes. Look at the size of them bunches of grapes there. Gordon Bennett. You know, make good earrings for somebody. Jesus, how do you get the grapes more bunches like that? I'm huge and all. So obviously that's for 2 bunches. That's for a single bunch. Not many entries in there. See why and all. Then you come to your veg. Bit of salad stuff. To the side, this is the root veg. So you got your long beetroot, long carrots, the stump carrots and long parsnips. So that's got to be a class of 4 root veg. Then you got your collection classes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different veg. Yeah, as there is with that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. We used to get loads of celery a few years back. Not many people grow it now. I used to grow it like 10 years ago, only for an exhibition, just to fill our show. We don't eat celery. Not nowadays. That looks like 3 different legumes. So you got your peas in the middle, the runners, your tomato hooks on the mushrooms, and your collection of onions. So that's onions, looks like 8 ounce. Then your exhibition shallots and your picklers, similar to ours. You can see we have 3 large onions, exhibition, and then picklers and mushrooms. Always good to see though. Some are different, but like the 8 ounce. And your normal red onions, white and then coloured taters. Lettuce, they were good. We've got vases like that. It's a good idea. Lifts them up and all. Elevates them for the juice, like it, and the people.
Just a quickie, Mick.
Yes, mate.
At Morven in the Giant Veg, a couple of your mates did well. Graham Barnett won the celery again with just over 27.5 kilogram. And Derek Hume, he got the world largest leek, 1.43 meters long leek.
Oh, I'd seen that one off. I meant to copy that bloody photo. Crap. Oh, good lad he is.
Yeah. And I also bumped into Keith coming out the Giant Veg tent.
Bumped into who?
Keith Hine.
Did you?
Yeah. With him.
We had 5 minutes rattle.
Oh, good man. Wolf spider with the babbies. Good way of carrying them out. Just whap a web round, keep them on. Who's next? Oh, me. I nicked that off the internet. Somebody put it on the Open group. We've got the dogs. Because most of them, there's quite a few of them, if this. Them not very dog friendly. Little pouches on now. Unsure or whatever. I thought that was good. Right, what do I recognise on here? Bleeding Heart. Got him. Foxglove or similar. Fuchsia.
Crimley is bottom.
Others, I got a clue.
Crimley, I
It's
think.
an auricular, Mick.
Which one?
The bottom right, the red one. That's an auricular.
And that one up from it looks like flamingos.
What's that, right?
The one up from it looks like pink flamingos. Look at it from the side. Pink bird.
Somebody bung this on. Plans to keep the bugs away. Now this is similar to when they started bringing out them scents. So it does work in a way because somebody's tried them. So if you got the mozzies, we don't get them. Aphids, marigold, which was that years ago in between me tomatoes. Yellow marigold. Peppermint ants, do you know that one? House flies, basil. Few there for us. Andy, I know you're on. Do you remember that croissant you gave me? I think you had one about the same size, don't you?
Yeah, it's a monite fluid, yeah. It's your own fluid.
Oh, excuse me. Do you talk to
Wow.
yours, mate?
I ain't touched nothing with mine. Mine's just still got buds on. Should be orange.
That's nice.
That's amazing.
It is. It's from Lidl this morning. That's it there.
Oh,
You plonker. Oh, there's mine.
so the buds are on now, eh? That's the same as mine.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be a bit of colour later on, though.
Yeah, hopefully. I'd say it should be orange, I think.
Is it?
They're cutting off my neighbours.
Oh. Yeah,
Well,
chap's
I'll see.
doing well.
That's it, very good.
Good man. Oh, not so much else in the post. And so much else. Paul, you'll recognise that leaf.
Oh, you ain't. Oh, you what?
I'm
That's
running out of
the-
room. I need a lot.
That's the version to Durban, eh? Yeah, top of the gold. There's the orange one.
Tropicana Gold.
Yeah, like Durban leaf, the green.
Because I like the leaf and all.
I was going to get that next year, but you've gone beat me to it.
I like a good variegated leaf.
I got one coming. I beat you.
If you notice that pot there, it looks as though it's damaged. I tell you, it's the roots telling you, take me out of this bloody pot or pop me on. And the other one was a blackcurrant Ben Sarak, meaning this is late. Because all the blackcurrants of flower have all been early fruiting, which is no good for our show, and this is a late end of August. I'm only a week after, so if I look after him, hopefully I'll have blackcurrants for the show. The Magoo as well. So these will be potted up. Middle bed, raised bed, top of the garden as normal. That's my workbench. So he's going into that one, and he's going into that one. The only way I could get that out of that pot was to cut through it with scissors. There's no way I could have pulled it out. And so I cut down the bottom so I didn't snap off any roots. Less disturbance or loss, the better, obviously. So he's going in that one, which is the next size up. And I'm looking after him. That's cruel keeping that in the pot size.
Where'd you have it from me?
I'll let you know.
Oh, let me know. All right.
Oh.
Taking the flower now.
So my old compost again, getting some out. I've just chopped a green manure. So that hole, I'm just filling that in. Pinch of that and put some of that in. That's just to fill that up. Carbon back on. Right, any pot is normal because they got holes in the bottom. I don't want to move him around and whatever because I'm going in the greenhouse soon. Well, when we start getting the frost. Bit of paper on the bottom just to cover that on. So he's going to have a good brew under him. Look after the chap. So fill him up till he's just above the level and he's nice and upright. And then firm him in, firm around there. Finish him off. Label back in, good watering. There's no wind about. If there was wind about, he'd be on the floor. He wouldn't be up there. He's potted on as well, nice and upright. There's a hound. I'm just having 5 minutes in the sun, just dropping off. The motion comes down. If it's touching you, that's all right. Oh, Sue, look at that. Right, my wall's at the back, because I've got my shed there, then there's a wall there. And obviously I've got a wall there where I had 2 raised beds with roofs on. But because it had a wall, they've been walloped in white paint. That's to repel the light and the heat back onto whatever you're growing in there. Like all the rest are open. That's why them 2 are white. He's cut his edge this afternoon from the other side. I'm asking if he wants to come round and jump this side. I'll let him in. See how he gets on with that. I'm going to get in touch with him soon around this place. But yeah, very well. Nice bit of colour when the sun's out, makes it even better.
You sure like your canners, Mick?
Yeah.
No, he's only copying me.
I've got the bug with something else.
Problem is with canners is
Hey?
one of the problems with canners is they don't have multiply quick as well.
Yeah.
Yep, they do. So when you get that
How'd you-
Durban out, you got 3
So
now.
how'd you overwinter them, Nick? The canners? You just
I
gonna
go
put them in the greenhouse?
I've
Let the
cleared that out.
Frost those
Yeah.
on first and put them.
Paul puts his all up the stairs with his bloody
No, I don't.
rubber
That's bananas.
plants. Bananas.
Yeah, we haven't been on it next year.
I don't know how your missus. How you get away with it?
Yeah.
Richard?
I don't fancy getting divorced. Thanks. They've
No.
already planned. The logs are in the house. They're nice. They get bigger in the house. A Christmas fair in this room with baubles on the banana. Some lights.
This was down our trading sheds last Saturday, and Jim come down, and he gave us a hand. Was bagging out the rock dust, and we finished that one. Then we started on the worm cast, and we emptied that one as well. So all our 3-ton sacks, which we have, I'm now all emptied. We've got a bit of space. I'm scared to look at the price of them from now on. Like everything else is shooting up. Right, somebody put on all their message, mate. Do I know anybody who fancies these bottles? And I put it on our group, Colleague Garden Club. Somebody come up. Lynn, who was on earlier on, is getting rid of these. And Georgette's having them down the plot. I said yesterday. Last Saturday, and they gave me a bottle for her. Colin Griffin from Georgette, thank you. Honey rum. Obviously that's in one of the jars, that's why he wants these jars. But that's supposed to be a beautiful brew. So I asked her for the recipe, and I brought it down yesterday. And it's cheating. Because the recipe, you've got to put 3 bottles of vodka in it. I thought, God, Benny. So Lynn, that's going to taste nice. Straw's still doing well. I'll get sun on in the morning. This is late afternoon because the sun's over that road. But them still getting fed as well and weighted. We had a visitor during the week. A kid, first kid. How old was her? 3, 4. But bloody climbing over everything. If I could have got away with it, I would have thrown her over the edge. The parents, well, grandparents bought her. Because I know Lynn visiting. But a bit of jumping all on me raised beds. Throwing balls in the house. Told Pet next time I should say something because they do. Jimmy says, well. So, I've asked Pet, I says, right, I could do with a couple of these back of there. That'll stop anything like that again. I mean, Rosie don't jump over there, it jumps over this end. So that's a good excuse for me to have 2 more raised beds up the top there. Get away with that. Right, my seaweed, as soon as that's dry, this is getting chopped up. And you see the small shells as well. And feathers, what's in there. So that's me goodies as well. Because I'm doing more fruit trees this year, I'm looking everything into that. Should any fruit tree struggle despite attempted pruning, feeding, whatever, a spray made from liquid kelp, i.e. seaweed, is the first remedy to try. Full of goodies. Obviously, your spray contains a bit of micronutrients, including calcium and zinc. So, and that's what I'm going to bung on. Best time to apply sprays, late spring, after the new leaves appear, and again in early summer. So you're just looking after exactly the same again, it's just a foliar feed. But it's seaweed is good, not just as a fertiliser, it's a foliar feed as well. So that's on the calendar for next year. Runners that worked this year.
Sorry, mate.
Yes,
mate.
mate.
I just watching Gardener's World the other night, and the woman growing dahlias said when hers are in flower, she foliar feeds them, foliar sprays with seaweed to promote the blooms. So,
Yeah.
So.
Was that a seaweed spray itself or massive?
Yeah, I think it's just the seaweed, spray.
It is. Is that many goodies in it?
Yeah.
You know, usually.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
Okay, mate. If you remember, I started with just 2 plants, and a month later, another 2, another 2. And it's working. One of the things that I've learned this year, what I'm going to do next year, because there's not, because of the back of the shed, there's not many bees getting around there and whatnot. So when the flowers, as soon as they start opening, I've got a mist spray with just water. As soon as the flowers start opening. But still picking and freezing. And Russian likes runners and all, other likes all, most fruit and veg, because they're good. And I bought it tonight again, and he had another envelope of Carolina Reapers. Evil. Somebody asked me earlier on, I think it was British Gladiolo group. This chap was starting up and he wanted to get into Gladies. And somebody said, oh, start off with the corms or the cormlets. So he asked for cormlets. I says, if you ain't gone, give me a couple of weeks and I can let you have some mine. Once I've got them all up. Because he just wants to have a go. He didn't want a particular sign. So I thought, well, we're going to spare the summer. And this come the same day. I had this letter. And none of them been franked to me, and those nice and clear. I can use them stamps again. And he says, what will you want for the corners? I says, sod all. I've already got the stamps ready for you. And then they pay for them. So he was pleased. It pleased me. Russian, we bought her a knuckle. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Still got it, I loves it. Keeps her quiet for moons. Only cost £1. You'll have to get one of them, Paul. Look at his little.
Me?
Yes.
Whatever. Don't have meat enough for me.
I'll bring you one up, Rag. I'm only £1.
£1. I'll have a chew with you.
No, if you remember my plant I used to have in there, Sue, you again. There he is. He's in the new bog downstairs. Look at him, busting. He was perfect in there.
How'd you get away with that?
What, the plant?
In the toilet. Good idea. I could put a banana in the bathroom.
It tickles the back of your neck. So I've got to get something else to make his place. And where am I? Lizzie sent me this moons ago. Queen's Tears, or what's the other name? Friendship plant. So he is going to get used for that. That's what it's supposed to look like. Look at the colours in that, beautiful. So I'll go look after him, so eventually I'll get him coming. So I've got to repot him on, next pot size up. Reading into this, good thing about bloody Google now, you don't Google anything. And they like a light, dry soil, meaning 3 parts vermiculite or perlite, 1 part compost. And that's the mixture when it comes out, nice and light. Meaning when you put your pot size in, nice and level, as soon as you take it out, he's going to collapse. So to stop him collapsing, just give him a good soaking. As soon as he's coming out of the bomb, I know he's had enough, then he won't collapse. Then my little chap's ready to go in. Put him level, firm that down around the outside. As I'm doing there. Lever him off. Hold him outside. Right, this lot, because it's going inside, and I've got a white hanging strapper, whatever you call them. I want a white pot as well, so it goes with the decor and the sling. So I walloped him. This was what I've used in the small bathroom downstairs when I wallop that. It's 10 quid a tin. What I managed to do, all the bathroom, and I've still got some left. And it does what it says on the tin, and then you use it once. And because it's nice and thick, it gives it a good coat. So I'll wallop that. Hung them in, elevated inside the tunnel, so I've got air movement. So he's going to dry off better, along with my Gladys and my seaweed. Right, start getting the corms out. These are out of all the raised beds up to the top of the garden. There ain't many I get up like that when I'm plastered in because they're still a bit damp. Once I've got all the soil up, if there's no corners in there, I just empty it back onto the bed. But because I don't want to lose any corners, I don't want no holes in the bottom, so I'm just putting the sheet of paper on the bottom. So that's this year's Gladdy, which has been used. That'll be next year's when she dries up. And he's got some babbies there, so he's a good one. And then you've got smaller ones after that. That's what I want. Some you get up, they got nothing on, must say. But that will be a good Gladdy for next year, hopefully. Also, if they're rotten when I get them up, which you haven't seen, this one is here, but it pulls off easily, quite easily. These lot, they've got to dry off a bit longer before they come off. That one, I wanted him out the road. But if there's any damage, i.e. that's affected the corm, then he'll go straight in the bin anyway. I want them nice and clean, like that one there, that's when it's coming off. Another week or so, 10 days, then this should come off easily as well. Then you'll have a nice clean base on the bottom. And then once I've been in there a week or so, and the soil is dried off, you just get an old paintbrush and wipe away the soil there. If there's got any babbies on, I'll hold it over the tray that he's eventually doing, like that one there. PM, that's Princess Margaret. 80 days to flower. We'll cover that later on. As you can see, decent sized corm on the top. That'll be good for next year as well. So them are nice and cleaned off. All the soil's dried, knocked off them. Then they ain't been out that long. So look at that one, 80, 81, 84, 89, 89, 88. So at the end I just get the mean average. I know it might be different anyway next year. Not so good summer, wetter, that'll throw everything out in the road. Singular beauty, they will be put down next year as well to keep your stock up on them. CP, Cream Perfection, quite a few of them up. Empty trays on the bottom, so they're elevated, so there's more air movement. But we had a storm a couple of days ago, and that still didn't get wet around here, so them was nice and clean, nice and dry. That's with the door on looking in, everything's drying away nicely. England 3-2 down, 3-2 up Germany, ended up 3-3. What a load. Soft bloody crap that is. Women show the men up. Still getting me nettles because there's new growth coming and me comfrey. There's Russian. Back to me babbies. Drying off nicely. Right, these like Cream Perfection. 92, 92, 94, 97, 99, 101, 103, 103. 113. Creep perfection, it's always been said to go out 100 days, and that tells you that you take fair off 100 days. So what I should do is 100 days, and do 1 week before, then 100 days, and then a week after for next year. So that would be them. I should do exactly the same, because every corn that comes out, whatever variety, I've all got their own label with how long it took to plant into flower. So I'll just get the mean for before and after. So it might be really different next year. But we're all in the same boat. And when them have dried up, then they come back in the garage and they get stacked up there. I forget if I remember last year, or I used to have the exhibition shallots, the prickly shallots, and the gladies in here. But now I've just got my gladies. When I do go in there once a week, check me onions for firmness, make sure they know good sat. Right, beef sarnie, bump some crisps on. I've gone back to the white bread, because we have the bread in the freezer. I'm taking 1 ration, taking 2 rounds out of the other stuff, seeded crap. It was too hard, this is better. The crisps nowadays, what the hell's happened to these? They make bloody crisps. They're thick, and cheese and onion. When I was a kid, you had a packet of cheese and onion crisps. You can taste it on your fingers for days after, with cheese and onion. Apparently, you can still get them in Ireland. They used to be like that in the 60s.
Them crisps and baked there, they ain't normal ones, they're not. If you look on the bag, it's got baked.
Is it?
Yeah. Go back one, see?
Oh, always read the small print. See? Thank you, Nigel. Picks up here off in a bloody head on.
Crisps.
Right, because I want the room in my tunnel for drying stuff off, I've bung me 8-foot canes up, nice and straight, and I'm using my ties again. My Velcro ties, perfect. That keeps them nice and dry, keeps them nice and clean, out the road. Because I need this room. Hold on, Rosie. Good girl. Sit down then. Good girl. Right, so these lot are coming out. Plus, before they come out, I've got a storm whenever coming. I want these lot in the tunnel. Because I want these lot to dry out. I don't want them getting wet again. I ain't bothered about them. I want our mate upstairs to water them, but not my cornets. So that's all been watered here, and that was, it's got to be 5 days ago, and these are nearly dried off now, so they have died back. Well, more of it cut back in a bit anyway, as you'll see. But once all my gladies are done, dusted, then them lot will go in the garage. They're not going to start on this lot, doing my cornets. Should get quite a few off these. These are the small and the large. The prims, the normals. Right, still doing my feed with the banana peel, slice them up. And there's my plant in there, brought him back in. The only thing is, I forgot to paint the bottom of the pot. Pete said nothing, so I ain't seen it yet. I might do it. See how we
Stick
do.
it in a saucer. Then you won't see the bottom of the pot and the water won't go through.
I'll take him outside to wait to him. But I could bung him off. I could paint a saucer. Oh. Good thinking, Batman. Seaweed, I've chopped off on it. But I've got to make room again. And there's 1 bag of wood chip, which I can get rid of. Because when I got my fruit trees, if you remember, when my fox had a bloody field day, I ain't seen him for 6 days now. So I think I've jobbed the person. Do you remember I put that wire down? And that sorted him out, stopped him digging. I'm going to cover that now with this wood chip. That'll get rid of that. Give me space in the tunnel. Perfect. Except Russian wants the big lumps out of the wood chip. So I'll get one of them now and then, keep it quiet. Right, getting my corners up again. Just chop more off so they fit in half of my seed tray. Or my mushroom tray, I should say. A couple of days these will be dry. I'll be able to get the brush on and take all the rest of the crap off. So I'm starting at the bottom of the garden on my raised beds of here. There's still a few in there, a couple there. That one I've done. I've took all the straw off. Top dressed him. Now I'm going to put a bit of netting over, which I have done there. Now I've got my wire clips. There's one either side and one either corner. That'll stop the cats and Russian if it's rabbit muck. Next to bloody rabbit muck down. So that'll stop her nicking that as well. Basically, it's okay, Rosie. So I've got the hound up here, making bloody fireworks off again. So eventually working way down. And that's the lot done. Sorted. Oh, Paul, not another delivery.
Yeah, your fireworks.
Hey?
You know the fireworks?
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Wedding?
No, drug dealers. When the drugs are in, I let fireworks off. Instead of texting people.
Somebody said that during the week.
Yeah. It was off quite a lot. Yeah, that's the thing.
Rosie was crapping herself. Yeah, so I shall look into that. In fact, I'll see the wench that put out there. Has got to know someone. Right, add me another raised bed, as we can see. Right, this, Jesus Christ. Anything like this, like bloody MFI. The destructions, they make me laugh anyway. Send me a persuader.
Whack it.
All these are supposed to be identical. No, I thought, no, what are them for? It's got a bit, there's nothing in the destruction. That says one man. It should be one man with 3 heads. Because I had to read the destructions 5 times. But I was impressed actually, but once it is together, it is bloody sturdy.
The different colours to the rest.
It is on. These are going down the bottom. Go back on that one. But this is slightly higher than that one, slightly wider, and obviously longer. So indoor feeding, wintering, you know it very well. Brought him inside, did him a feed. 2 hours later, he's picked himself up. Good lad. Back in the living room. Right, when we first started our gardening club, this was Cradling Royal British Legion Horticultural Society. That's how we started up. It's when I come out of the mob, and I think I was at the 3rd meeting. Within the 2nd meeting, I was chairman, and I've been ever since. But the first show we had, when you had the presentation night, everybody won a piece of cut glass. This is one of the first ones I had. It is solid, weighs a ton.
I suppose.
because Brawley Hill Crystal, which ain't too far for us, we had a contact down there, meaning if they were there, that they could buy seconds, but you would not have a clue it was a second. You've got to know what you're looking for. Even her couldn't. We said to her when you get them, she would point out to us why it's a second. And she says, I ain't got a clue. Unless you're really into it, you're hyper detailed, you've never noticed. But that's all we used to have as prizes for winners. But obviously lost our contact. I've put a couple of them in for raffle prizes the last couple of meetings. So when they do get it, they know it's Pucker Crystal. Right, a few people saying they miss the zoo. What have I missed? A couple of days after or the next day, I put it on YouTube. Just watch it on YouTube. Then you'll catch up. I'd like to update this. This is what I take on me doing my talks. Just for extra pocket money. This is what I take me and flog. Mike Arrival, that is shot through the roof, the price of that. Well, the same with everything else. So when I finish with my liquid fish, that'll be no more of that. Probably the mycorrhizal fungi, because I've lost them as a contact in the sense that the price I used to get it at. I might have to finish with that one as well. And my little babby downstairs, he's had a feed and all, look after the chap. Once that lot's gone out, obviously rainwater I've used, that's going in the composting. And then just sprinkle that in the side of the bin. Right, them winds we had, jobbed these two. I mean, both the dahlias. I've got structures, frames up, and you pull them over and all. But I know there was a bit of stuff on. I know that's tied up. And there's still a weight on it. So I took a few flowers off anyway. Because I've got no gladiolite as indoor flowers. I've got enough flowers outside. So I'm just doing a couple of vases using what I've got. And there's another piece of cut glass. Because they are nice and solid and heavy, they're not going to topple over. Blackberry, Leighton. They're going the colour is supposed to be. Right, these are me spring bulbs. There is, where am I? Farmer Gracie. I think Jeffrey was the first one to mention these. He's had stuff like these. And they do quite a bit. I've never heard of them, always something different. So I've got 3 lots of them. Them are from Wilco. These 2 are from Lidl. And them lot was the raised bed I built in the middle of the lawn. That's the ones I used last year. So I got them up as well. So I've got my large raised bed at the top, and these are the 3 raised beds where we come out of our patio doors. Lynn wants a bit of colour in these, which will make it look better obviously in the spring. So them 3 and that raised bed. I've got to sort these lot out. So first thing I did was skin them down. Any old skins, and which you'll just see on the right there, that's the old skins. And one reason for skinning them down, same as any gladiator or anything, if they are crap, you can see that they are them. So them 2 went straight in the bin. Because there was naff underneath. So sorted them out. I've labelled them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then them 4 inches deep. And 7 inches deep, them lot. So I pull them in the, leg it up. So the first bit I'm going to do is this. take all the straw off, level it out, and I'll top dressing with a bit of multi-purpose compost just to build up the top. So my numbers, I've got 2, as you can see, there's 2 are number 1, 2 are 2, 2 are 3, 1 are 4, because I ain't got many of them. So there's 13 I can get in one bed, and they're staggered. That's what I'm doing. So I mark my 3 rows out, put my labels in when I'm going to go. If you're ain't very good with depths, get a cane and just measure on there, mark it on it. So that's 5 inch, so he's been up to the 5 inch mark. And long them in is a 4 inch. And then what I've got out for the hole, that thing goes back in until I've got them all in. Level it off, put the straw back on. There's me lid that come off, me wire mesh. And bloody cats off. Or any other vermin. I think I've got rid of my fox. And kinks, I need a tripwire for kinks now. Then I start on my next one. And just work the way around. Go back on him. Because I've got to get in there, I've got to move him out the road. So lift him in. That line underneath, loads of worms. So I pick them up and straight in the compost heap. And the same again there. And then the last one, as you can see, how much they drop. So the straw comes off, then you just top dress with a normal multi-purpose compost. Labels out again, plant, straw back on, and then more mesh. That's all done. What's that is on this one? I remember. Right, Cumberland brandy. This is a good one. Nice and clear. He's telling me he's ready to bottle. Got me 5 bottles, 5 corks. I've got water in, that comes on top of them, so it sinks them all together. That water will soak up into the cork, meaning when the corks go in and they dry out, that's going to stay airlocked. If you add that water in and clean out with a long brush, there he is. The weight of that cup sends all them corks underneath. Russian's helping me out, all ready to siphon them off. Got to keep that away from the sediment. And I managed to get 5 bottles, plus about 1 inch in the bottom there. So obviously I've tried it when it first comes out. If it was crap, obviously the good on the compost heap, but it was good. So then I'll get 5 bottles which I've managed to get, and then the rest goes in there. Then I get pet a drop. So you forgot how good this is. We'll have a sesh on it. Christ, all you need 1 bottle between us. That's how good it is.
Mick?
Yes.
What did you do with sediment?
Sorry?
You know your rubbish on the bottom, what did you do with that?
Put it on the compost heap.
You thought about feeding plants with it?
You can make a feed or...
Yeah, my dad used to. And if
it'd be strong.
Australia,
Yeah.
everything used to grow. Really
Yeah.
good.
I know, well, I've always put it on the compost heap. Obviously waited in
Worms
there
get-
first. But
The worms get married.
Yeah.
Worms get married.
so I mean,
Worms.
everything in there, natural products.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be good for stoned fruit.
Oh. They might spit it back out, don't they? So my corks come out, halfway up the neck. That's what Judge is looking for. And the less air in there, the better, obviously. And just slightly, there was a couple of bits in here. Never had that before. So I got this little bag from somewhere. I forget what it was in. But I thought, I know what I'm going to use that for, to make a perfect sieve. And that's double anyway, because it's a bag. So I'm pouring that. I've emptied the bottle again and poured it out in there. And there's the bits that was in. When it come off the cork, it was only on one. I thought, that's better. Bung them back in. And if you bubble all your bottles, your demijohns get a bit knacked, get a Camden tablet, put it on a large spoon, with a small spoon on top, and just press it. And that crushes it to a powder form. Then just bung that in. That's got to be sealed on the bottom. Then just fill that up. And then look after it. Leave them for 4 or 5 hours. And that'll clean them, sterilise them. Right, corked. Now ready for the labels. Oh, poor, not another delivery.
Yeah,
Jesus, thank Christ.
You must have more money than a millionaire. You've run out of garden soon.
This is full of mate.
You have to have garden left.
I see that Alstrom is. I says, leave it with me. I'll send for some for you. So I've sent these for them. You've got to have them in 3s. I only wanted 5, but obviously you've got to have them in 3s, so 2 lots of 6, sorry, rather. Now the first one, which you don't see there, you don't see them 3, you don't see him, you don't see him. That one, there's sorghum in it, so I rung him up. He said he's dormant. He says, you mean to tell me you've got no more plants that you could have sent out? That's all you've got, yes. So I says, well, if you don't do nothing, he'll be hearing from me again. So I potted them on and waited them. Put them in the greenhouse. There's one out earlier. Hopefully these will look like that by the time they go out next year. Obviously these are going to be dormant soon. Just overwinter them. Then we got the storms
Quick question.
forecast. So, yes.
My house from here, when they're finished, cut them off, put them in the green, polish them, and just go water the leaf.
Don't cut them off, just put them straight out individually so they come away from the plant.
Now we're leaving the pots over winter.
You got them in
Got big
pots?
plant. Yeah, the one.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the plants outside.
No.
Yeah, inside or
Just do you water or not over winter?
no?
No, just like a cannon, leave it.
Yeah.
For dorm. Alright, cheers.
Because we've got storm. I mean, that one with a bit of wind, that's going to topple that over and in. So I want to get these looked after. So there's 3 of them I bought down that corner. So that's got the wind protection. But luckily we didn't get the storm, which they said we was going to get. We did have the rain. We had a good downpour. Luckily during the night, it's best time to have the rain. But I think Scotland had it worse than anybody. So we got away with that. Clean me demijohn and me bits next day. Right, got a bung mint labels on them. So I've got 2 left brewing upstairs now. That one is potato gin, as you can see, and that one is sultana rum. Meaning the best 3 that I've just done. So I've done the common brandy, and then these 2 are the strongest wines that I do. That's in the living room, and he's going to go first. I'll just go out and get a replacement and just bung him in. But it's a nice bit of colour in the house. Put my labels on him, 5 on them. Bung them in the garage with the rest, except there's only 4. So I took one down to the trading sheds yesterday. Because I was down there again. And I took one for Paul, for his missus. Kelly, because I get us bacon and sausage baps for show morning. And they come in perfect. So, I hope you've get it, Paul.
Yes, I have. Thank you very much. This is.
That there was missing out there. There's people coming.
Very, very well for that.
I says, oh no.
No, been sick before.
Yeah. Paul wanted all meat recipes for me wine. He started doing his own wine and his cider. He'll give us a session on that one of the days. So there's all my recipes. But everybody that was coming, I said, just have a little drop of that. And these two had a drop out on it. Jim had a drop. And they all wanted the recipe. It is that good. And it's ready to use within 10 weeks. Ben was in the news again. Did a drawing class in Essex. Kids from the local school as well as the elderly residents. I thought, bloody hell, that's what I used to do originally when I did the 2 plots on our allotment for the disabled. And I used to get the school kids down from Caslon, and they both got on great with each other. Kids do get on great with the elderly or people with learning difficulties. And it brought back memories when you were doing that. And they're great. Loved it. Well done, Ben. Right, if you got Netflix, because there's a lot of crap on the box nowadays. Top 10 films. Lou. Good one. I watched that during the week, and it is a very good film. Another good one, Killer Elite. That's in the top 10 as well. But this is good in the sense, anything SAS wise, I'm into. We've got a mate who's involved. But this one, in 1991, Randolph Fiennes published The Feathermen, meaning he was SAS, but money got stopped. But the non-fiction book upon which this film is based, it was greeted with huge controversy and official government denial. To this day, the full involvement of the SAS in the Oman War remains highly classified under Britain's Official Secrets Act. So this film makes you wonder, well, the SAS got shit on by the government and their top brass. But it's interesting, good film. If you get the chance and you got Netflix, watch it. And there's Russian. Every night now at 10 o'clock, it goes to bed. It comes up on her own. And that's where it keeps. And that's where I keep. Meaning, when I come in, turn the light off, gets up and goes over that side. And the missus comes in and then goes down the bottom of the bed. But she is my water bottle, meaning when her moves, that is nice and warm for me to get in. There's a good one. Making homemade vegan sausages. Follow me for more recipes next week. I could never give up eating, mate. I'm sorry, people. And this new highway code, it took me 3 hours to get past these 4. Obviously, I'm riding double abreast. You can't get bloody past, can you? And that's it, people.
Going back on that Colombian pandemic.
Yes, mate.
I've got a bottle in the pantry. I did when I first did the wine. 24-year-old.
24?
Yeah, I did it when we, the year my Aunt Alice died. We got married in 98, so 97.
Yeah, I'm going a bit quiet there, Paul, man.
24-year-old.
Oh.
Still in the cupboard, it's still clear. That's what it tastes like.
You keeping that for a special occasion?
Yeah, I think. I don't know which one. They got a rocket fuel.
Very little at all.
It's proper
That
dark.
the last time you bought a drink, Paul?
Yeah, at least we've still got a manager. We've still got a
You
manager.
don't need one.
You
You
do.
tomorrow.
No.
Gerard will be sacked.
What was the score tonight, Villa?
No. There couldn't
Leeds
be
don't want
10 men
to
leads.
Better than losing.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say that. I mean, Wolves lost to West Ham.
Well, lose next time. We'll beat Chelsea next week.
Whatever.
Yeah, watch.
Right, we've got a Zoom next week, unless something happens. I think we might for a couple of weeks. Nigel, you've got a bit of something from Malvern?
I got hundreds of stuff. Yeah.
Good man. Just vary it.
Okay.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Okay then, people. We'll see you all next week.
See you all.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Night.
Nick.
See you
Cheers.
later. Bye.
Cheers, troops.
See ya. Bye-bye.